Hey, thank you for coming back. And today I'd like to talk to you about another camping lantern. And yes, as you can tell, I'm still in our Centerline, Michigan store. Hopefully soon I'll be back at my regular location. Okay, it is this one here. It's from NEBO. I really hope I'm saying that correctly. This is the NEBO Poppy 2-in-1 lantern. Basically, it just comes like this, with the exception of a little wrap around the middle. Kind of like that. That's what it looks like when you buy it. Now, I got this from Walmart, and it was only like, I think, $16, $17, $18, something like that. Now, be careful how you tear this apart. Make sure you tear it right where it connects together, because they give you a lot of good information, not just on the outside, but on the inside as well. So just don't tear it nilly-willy. Now they say it's 2-in-1. You get, like, they call it a spotlight. I'm just going to say a flashlight. And then right here is a pull-up lantern. The other thing too is if you notice, they got this little handle, and it seems like you're restricted right there from pulling it up all the way. Well, this handle is actually adjustable, or whatever. You just take it, pinch it together, pull it out of there, and if you see on this side, there's the same type of little nubs as on this side, so you can carry it like that as well. Oops, I did it wrong. Hold on. On these nubs, if you were to put them in there, you can now even hang it. And there's your Cobb LEDs. There's 3 of them. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, let's see. It runs on AAA batteries, 3 of them. And the way to get into it is right on the very top. They do come with their own NEBO batteries, but for testing purposes, I didn't use those. I used these right here. You can get these at a Family Dollar. This 4-pack of AA's are like $3.50. Yeah, I forgot to go to Dollar Tree and try those batteries. But these are pretty much cheap enough. Who knows who makes them? So I figured, what the heck, I'll use them. And of course, they're orange as well. And so that's what I used in testing. Now here, let me tell you all of the specs. Well, first let's take a look around it. Got the name Poppy, a little bit of information right there. It says NEBO as the branding, and pretty much that's it, except for this little orange button with the, well, I guess it's supposed to be an N. That's the on and off button. Now here's the flashlight, and you can actually dim it. That's the highest mode, and if you press and hold this button, you can see it getting dimmer, and then you see that little quick flash it does. That means it's at its lowest point, and it'll do the same thing all the way up. See? And then you press it again to shut it off. The lantern itself is dimmable as well. You turn it on, and you press and hold the button, and it does that little flicker or flash real quick, and it lets you know that it's at its lowest setting. If you press and hold it again, it goes, that means it's its brightest setting. So let me shut that off. There is a memory function in here as well, and that's why I said don't get rid of this, because right there it says memory power settings. So don't get rid of that, okay? I mean, make sure you cut this thing in the proper way. Like I said, right where the card meets, which should be right around the barcode here. That's where you're going to want to tear it or cut it so you don't mess up any of the instructions on the inside. Now, the lantern is 300 lumens, and that's distributed amongst each one of these cob LEDs. So you got 3 different strips of cob LEDs. So I'm saying that's probably about 100 lumens each. Doesn't tell you how many lumens the lowest rating is, at least not that I can find. And oh, okay, the lantern on low is 35 lumens. Okay, and the highest is 300. The flashlight, or the spotlight as they call it, is 120 lumens on high, and the spotlight, flashlight, on the lowest is 15 lumens. Let's see, it's water resistant, so don't dump it in a lake or water. It's probably good for a light rain or something of that nature. So I probably wouldn't get it soaking wet, because you'll probably ruin it that way. Mainly because I would imagine this part right here, when you lift the lantern up, how it slides up and down, that's probably going to be the weakest point for water leakage into this thing. Also, well, I'll get to that in a minute with my final thoughts. Now, the run times. On high, the lantern at 300 watts is 7.5 hours on high and 40 hours on the lowest setting. The spotlight is 18 hours on high and 90 hours on low. And to be honest, those are pretty accurate. And that's why I used the cheapy little batteries instead of something like a Duracell or an Energizer battery. I wanted to see, because most people will probably grab whatever they can get, either it be dollar store or something, some kind of cheap battery. So that's why I used these from Family Dollar. And I'll be honest with you, I actually got about 8.5, 9 hours on the lantern on high. I only tested it on high. Well, not really. I only tested it on high. I didn't go all the way to the low. Now, after about 8.5 hours, that's when I noticed that this thing started dimming down for the lantern. And then, after about 38 hours, this thing got so dim you can actually look at it and see each little LED on the cob strip. You can see that, but yet it was still bright enough for me to walk around in the room I had this in and kind of see where I'm going. And that's after 40 hours on high with these cheap batteries. So I imagine if you're going to go ahead and get some really good ones like Energizers, especially the Energizer Lithium, or the Duracells, it'll probably even last you even a little bit longer. Now the spotlight, it says 18 hours on high, and yeah, I did pretty much get that with these same cheap batteries. I actually bought 2 packages. I used one package brand new for the lantern. Once that testing was done, I took those batteries out, opened up another package of these Homeline batteries, and I did the spotlight or flashlight, and I pretty much got the same results as the run times as they're claiming. So yeah, the run times are pretty darn good just for alkaline AAA or AA batteries. So yeah. All right, now for the test video, I'm going to do it kind of simple. I'll be outside testing the spotlight, but I'm going to just stay on the inside for the lantern and, in my bathroom, just so you can see how bright it is. Because let's face it, if these truly are only 100 lumens for each little cob strip, it'll give you good area lighting. But I mean, let's face it, this is really meant for indoors, not necessarily like an outdoor situation. Not to mention, the camera's not going to really pick it up very well on the outside. For the lantern setting on high, it's going to be a lot brighter in real life than what you're going to see on camera anyway. So like I said, inside for this, outside for the spotlight, and if I remember to do it, because these batteries still have some juice in it, what I might do is put those back into the lantern and turn it on high, just so you can see how after about 38, 40 hours of continuous runtime, I didn't shut it off, on how well these things held up. Okay, so right now here's the test video. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the test video. So, there's one thing I wanted to point out before I really get into the lantern about my final thoughts. Excuse me, too much coffee this morning. The one thing I've yet to do that I would recommend you possibly do is when you take this little thing off, I use Super Lube. Dielectric grease. It's a dielectric silicone grease, okay? Dielectric means it conducts electricity. Now, even though this is plastic, I'm going to put a little thin layer of that grease around this little lip that goes inside the lantern. And the reason for that is pretty much to help with waterproofing. Even if it just slows down the amount of water getting into the battery compartment, you know, and into like this little section here and there. If I could slow down the water getting into there, so in case like an emergency and there's water everywhere, if I could slow it down and have a little bit more runtime by putting a little bit of that Super Lube on this little lip right in here, I'm going to go ahead and do that. Not to mention it'll make it a little bit easier to open and close anyway. So what do I think of the NEBO Poppy 2-in-1 lantern? Well, I think it's a great little light. It doesn't take up as much room. I like the fact that the handle can move so you can have it as, you know, for your spotlight, or you can flip it up here so you can hang it on top. The lantern does put out a really good amount of light for area lighting. I do like how you just press and hold the button and it can slowly drop down to the lowest level so you can get it right exactly where you want. Same thing with the spotlight, flashlight, where you can do that too. Yes, it's not the brightest of lanterns and flashlight, spotlight on the market for the money. I mean, I know there's better ones out there, but let's put it this way. It's better to have some kind of light than no light at all in an emergency situation. You can also like give it to your kid if you got kids, or some kind, you know, kids in somewhere in your family that might want some kind of a flashlight of their own. This will be a good thing. This is kind of a rubberized coating with nice durable plastic on it. So it's a great little flashlight, has great runtime, even on cheap dollar store or Family Dollar type batteries. Even on cheap batteries, this has excellent runtime. So yeah, you could stock up a lot of them batteries. No, I don't know about, you know, rechargeable batteries. I'm not a fan of those things because they never really seem to last long for me anyway. I always had bad luck with them. So I'd rather just stick with something like this. I plan on replacing the NEBO's batteries with Energizer batteries, probably the Energizer lithium batteries, because I know those are going to last a little bit longer than your typical ones. Yes, they're more expensive, but hey, why not? But at least get some Energizers or Duracells. My opinion is keep them in the package. Don't put them in the lantern right away. Just keep them both kind of together. You know, you can kind of do something like that maybe, or something. The reason why is because if you leave the batteries in there and it goes too long, the liquid in here, they can, you know, leak all over and ruin your lantern. So always keep them, just keep them in the package. That way if they leak, you can see it and say, oh crap, I can't use them, whatever. This way you won't ruin your lantern. But stock up a little bit on some batteries. Do not load them up in here. But keep your batteries as close to this lantern or flashlight, whatever the heck it is that you have. Keep it as close as possible to those. That way, as soon as you need it, you can go ahead and put them all together. You know, and then you can have your light. So yes, from Walmart, the NEBO Poppy. Is it worth getting? Yes, it is. Like I said, it's better to have some kind of light as opposed to no light at all. Even if you were to go to a dollar store and buy one of those cheap little pull-up lanterns, that's even better than not having anything at all in case of an emergency or a power outage. But this is going to be a little bit more durable. It's going to be more dependable than those really dirt cheap things that you find, like I said, at the dollar store. So yeah. The NEBO Poppy 2-in-1 lantern is definitely worth every penny getting. And if you happen to like this video, please give it that thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to my channel and do not forget about that notification bell. It would really help me out a lot if you were to share this video and maybe a few more of my others on all of your social media. And until the next video, you, your friends, your family, and yes, even all of your pets, you all have a great day. I'll see you in the next video.